My beloved child, before you continue listening, I need you to slow down for a moment. Do not rush through these words. Do not treat this as just another message, because what I am about to reveal may explain something that has been happening in your life for much longer than you realize. You have been asking questions you rarely speak aloud. Why does progress sometimes feel so close, yet remain just beyond your reach? Why do certain struggles keep repeating themselves? Why do seasons that should have ended seem to linger longer than expected? And why, despite your prayers, despite your efforts, despite your desire to move forward, do you sometimes feel as if something unseen is quietly holding you back? My child, listen carefully. The answer may not be where you have been looking. Many people spend their lives searching for large explanations. They search for major mistakes, great failures, huge moments of rebellion, dramatic turning points. But what if the thing affecting your life right now is not something large at all? What if it is something small, something so small that you barely notice it, something that seems harmless, something that enters quietly, without noise, without warning, without resistance? My beloved, darkness rarely announces itself. It rarely arrives with loud footsteps. It rarely declares its intentions. Most of the time, it enters through what appears insignificant, a thought left unchecked, a wound left unhealed, a distraction allowed to grow, a moment of hesitation when you already knew what you should do, a voice you continued listening to even after you sensed it was pulling you away from peace. Small things, very small things, yet small things possess extraordinary power. A tiny crack in a foundation can eventually threaten an entire building. A single spark can ignite an entire forest. A slight shift in direction can place a traveler miles away from the destination they intended to reach. Do you see, my child? The enemy understands this principle. That is why he often avoids obvious attacks. Instead, he looks for openings, tiny openings, moments when your attention drifts, moments when your heart grows tired, moments when your guard lowers just enough for confusion to enter. And what troubles many souls is not what enters. It is that they never realize it entered at all. That is why I am speaking to you now, because I love you too much to remain silent. I see what others cannot see. I see what even you have not fully recognized. I see the places where your heart has become weary. I see the disappointments you tried to hide. I see the silent frustrations, the questions, the doubts, the exhaustion, the moments when you smiled for others while carrying heaviness within yourself. Yes, my beloved, I saw every one of them. I was there during the nights when no one knew how much pressure you were carrying. I was there during the moments when you wondered whether anyone truly understood. I was there when you felt overlooked, misunderstood, forgotten. And even then, I never left your side. Not for a single moment, but listen carefully now, because this next truth is important. The greatest danger to your future is not always what stands against you. Sometimes it is what slowly drains you. There are people who watch for enemies but ignore exhaustion. People who watch for attacks but ignore compromise. People who watch for storms but ignore leaks. Yet a leak can sink a ship just as surely as a storm. My beloved child, what if there has been a leak? What if something precious has been slowly escaping from your life? Not your possessions, not your achievements. Something far more valuable, your peace, your focus, your confidence, your spiritual strength, your ability to hear my voice clearly. What if the reason you feel different lately is because something has been quietly draining the flame I placed within you? As it is written, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Proverbs 4:23. Notice what the scripture does not say. It does not say guard your success. It does not say guard your reputation. It does not say guard your possessions. It says guard your heart, because everything flows from there. Your decisions, your relationships, your future, your purpose, everything. And yet so many people protect everything except the one thing that matters most. My beloved, I am not speaking these words to condemn you. I am speaking because I want to awaken you. Because something beautiful is still alive inside you. Something precious remains. The flame is still there, even if you cannot see it clearly. Even if life has covered it with ashes. Even if disappointment has tried to bury it. Even if fear has attempted to silence it. The flame remains. I know there were moments when you questioned whether you still had the strength to continue. Moments when your passion seemed smaller than before. Moments when your faith felt weaker. Moments when you wondered if you had somehow lost what you once carried. But hear me clearly. You have not lost what I placed within you. You may have neglected it. You may have become distracted. You may have become exhausted, but you have not lost it. Because what I place inside my children is not easily destroyed. It can become hidden. It can become neglected. It can become surrounded by ashes, but it remains. And this is where many people misunderstand what is happening. They assume the fire is gone, so they stop tending it. They stop protecting it. They stop believing it can burn brightly again. But they are wrong, very wrong, because the story is not over. In fact, what you think is ending may actually be the beginning of something greater. Something is happening beneath the surface. Something you cannot yet fully see. Something I have been preparing during this entire season. You have focused on what appeared to be dying, but I have been watching what was surviving. You have focused on what was leaving, but I have been protecting what remained. You have focused on what felt weak, but I have been strengthening something deeper, and soon, very soon, you will begin to understand why this season unfolded the way it did. But before that revelation can come, there is something you must first recognize. Because there is one hidden leak, one subtle opening, one unnoticed habit that continues to affect more people than they realize. And until you see it clearly, you will not fully understand why the flame sometimes grows dim. My beloved child, stay with me. Do not skip ahead. Do not become distracted. Because in the next part, I will reveal the hidden leak that quietly steals spiritual strength from countless people without them ever realizing it. And once you see it, you will never view your life the same way again. My beloved child, now let me show you what many never recognize until years have already passed. The hidden leak, the silent drain, the thing that weakens the flame without making a sound. You may think it is fear. You may think it is failure. You may think it is opposition, but often it is none of these. The leak begins much earlier, much smaller, much quieter. And because it is quiet, most people never notice it. Listen carefully. A lamp does not suddenly go dark. A tree does not suddenly die. A river does not suddenly dry up. The process begins long before the outcome becomes visible. Little by little, day by day, moment by moment. And the same is true within your soul. My child, there have been seasons when you asked why you felt different, why your joy seemed weaker, why your peace disappeared so quickly, why your confidence no longer felt as strong as before. You searched for large explanations. You wondered if something dramatic had happened. Yet the answer was often hidden in ordinary moments. Moments you considered too small to matter. A prayer postponed, a prompting ignored, a wound left untreated, a compromise excused, a distraction welcomed, a truth delayed. One moment rarely changes everything, but repeated moments always do. That is how the leak begins, not through one decision, but through a pattern, a slow drift, a gradual movement away from the source of life. My beloved, do you remember when your connection with me felt stronger? Do you remember when hearing my voice felt easier? Do you remember when your faith seemed more alive? Those seasons were not necessarily easier. Many of them were actually more difficult. Yet something was different. You remained close. You listened more carefully. You responded more quickly. You guarded your heart more intentionally. And because of that, the flame burned brightly. But then life became busy. Responsibilities increased. Disappointments accumulated. Unexpected burdens arrived. And little by little, your attention became divided. Not all at once, not dramatically, just enough. Just enough for the leak to begin. My child, one of the greatest dangers is not rebellion. It is neglect. Neglect feels harmless. It feels temporary. It feels understandable. But what is neglected eventually weakens. Relationships weaken when neglected. Health weakens when neglected. Dreams weaken when neglected. And spiritual strength weakens when neglected. That is why the scripture says, do not quench the spirit. 1 Thessalonians 5:19. Notice those words carefully. Do not quench. The verse does not say destroy. It does not say remove. It does not say eliminate. It says quench, because the flame is still there. The danger is not that it disappears. The danger is that it becomes covered, suppressed, ignored, starved, my beloved child. Many people spend years blaming darkness when the real problem is that they stopped feeding the light. Think about that. Darkness has no power of its own. Darkness only exists where light is absent. The solution is not always to fight the darkness. Sometimes the solution is simply to strengthen the flame. And this is what I desire to teach you. Because I am not showing you the leak to shame you. I am showing it to you so you can repair it. There is still time. There is still hope. There is still life within you. You have not gone too far. You have not failed beyond recovery. You have not lost your purpose. You have not lost my calling. You have not lost my love. You are simply being invited back to watchfulness, back to awareness, back to the place where the flame can breathe again. My beloved, there is another truth many never understand. The leak often accelerates during seasons of weariness, not because you stop loving me, not because you stop believing, but because exhaustion changes your focus. When people become tired, they stop protecting what matters. They lower their guard. They delay important things. They choose convenience over conviction. And that is exactly when the leak grows larger. I know you have been tired. I know there were days when simply getting through the day felt like a victory. I know there were moments when your heart felt heavy. Moments when disappointment lingered longer than expected. Moments when you silently wondered if your efforts were making any difference. I saw all of it, every struggle, every hidden battle, every tear, every unanswered question. And my child, I was never angry with you for being tired. Never, because I understand human weakness. I understand burdens. I understand pain. But what concerns me is when weariness becomes distance, when exhaustion becomes isolation, when disappointment becomes surrender. That is when the leak becomes dangerous, because weariness was never meant to separate you from me. It was meant to draw you closer. The very moment you feel weakest should become the moment you lean on me the most. Yet many do the opposite. They withdraw, they isolate, they become silent. And then they wonder why the flame grows dim. My beloved child, listen closely. The enemy cannot create life. He cannot create purpose. He cannot create destiny. He cannot create the flame I placed inside you, but he will try to distract you from tending it. He will try to convince you that small things do not matter. He will try to persuade you that one delay is harmless. One compromise is insignificant. One distraction is acceptable. One ignored prompting is nothing. But every great collapse begins with small neglect, and every great restoration begins with small obedience. This is why I am speaking to you now, not because your story is ending, but because restoration is beginning. Even now, while you are listening, even now, while these words enter your heart, something is awakening. Something is being repaired. Something is being restored. You may not fully feel it yet, but the process has already started. The leak is being exposed. The deception is being uncovered. The fog is beginning to lift. And once you see clearly, everything changes, my beloved. There is a reason I allowed you to hear this message today. A reason these words found you. A reason your attention was drawn here. Because the season ahead requires a stronger flame. The next chapter of your life requires greater awareness. The future I am leading you toward requires deeper trust. And before I increase the fire, I must first reveal the leak. Before I expand your influence, I must strengthen your foundation. Before I open new doors, I must prepare your heart. That preparation has already begun. But what I am about to reveal next may surprise you, because the moment you thought proved your weakness was actually revealing your strength. The season you believed was evidence of failure was actually a test that many never understand until much later. Stay with me, my beloved, because in the next part, I will show you why your weakest moments were never proof that I abandoned you. In fact, those moments may have revealed more about your faith than your strongest days ever could. My beloved child, there is something I need you to understand about the season you have been walking through. Something many people never realize until years later. Something that changes the way they view every struggle they have ever faced. Listen carefully. The moment you felt weakest was not necessarily the moment you were failing. In many cases, it was the moment you were being tested. Not tested to see whether you were perfect. Not tested to see whether you could carry everything by yourself. Not tested to see whether you would never struggle, but tested to reveal where your trust truly rested. My beloved, anyone can feel confident when everything is going well. Anyone can believe when answers arrive quickly. Anyone can worship when the path is clear. Anyone can speak about faith when there are no storms. But true faith reveals itself differently. True faith is not exposed during abundance. It is exposed during uncertainty, not during comfort, but during waiting, not during strength, but during weakness. That is why many of the moments you considered failures were actually revealing something beautiful, something precious, something eternal. Because while you were focused on what you lacked, I was watching what remained. While you were focused on your weakness, I was watching your response. While you were focused on your exhaustion, I was watching your heart. And my child, you continued moving forward, perhaps slowly, perhaps imperfectly, perhaps with tears in your eyes, but you continued. Do you understand how significant that is? Many people think faith means never doubting, never struggling, never questioning. But that is not what faith is. Faith is continuing to walk when answers have not yet arrived. Faith is continuing to trust when circumstances seem unclear. Faith is choosing not to quit when every emotion tells you to stop. And there were moments when you wanted to stop. Moments when discouragement whispered into your mind. Moments when disappointment felt overwhelming. Moments when you wondered whether your prayers were making any difference at all. I saw every one of those moments. I saw the nights you lay awake. I saw the burdens you carried silently. I saw the fears you never shared with anyone. I saw the questions hidden behind your smile, and I was closer than you realized, much closer. Because, my child, weakness has a way of creating an illusion. It convinces you that I am distant. It convinces you that I have forgotten. It convinces you that your struggles mean I have abandoned you. But that has never been true, not once. In fact, many times when you felt most alone, I was working most closely. Many times when you felt most abandoned, I was standing nearest. Many times when you thought nothing was happening, the deepest work was taking place beneath the surface. That is why I tell you now, do not judge your season by your emotions. Emotions change, circumstances change, feelings rise and fall like waves. But my presence remains constant, my love remains constant. My purpose remains constant, and my plans for your life remain constant. Even when you cannot see them, my beloved, remember what is written. Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Matthew 26:41. Notice what I said to my disciples. I did not say they were evil. I did not say they lacked love. I did not say they lacked desire. I acknowledged something important. The spirit was willing, but the flesh was weak. The weakness was real, yet the weakness did not disqualify them. The weakness simply revealed their need for me, and the same is true for you. Your weakness does not disqualify you. Your struggle does not disqualify you. Your exhaustion does not disqualify you. Your questions do not disqualify you. Your difficult season does not disqualify you, my beloved child. Too many people spend years condemning themselves for being human. They believe that if they were truly faithful, they would never feel afraid, never feel tired, never feel discouraged, never feel overwhelmed. But even those I called greatly experienced such moments. David experienced them. Elijah experienced them. Moses experienced them. Peter experienced them. And yet I still used them powerfully because I have never searched for perfect people. I have always searched for willing hearts, hearts that continue returning, hearts that continue listening, hearts that continue trusting, even when they feel weak. And perhaps that is what you need to hear right now. Because recently, you have been measuring yourself by your strength. You have been evaluating your faith by your emotions. You have been judging your future by your current circumstances. But I want you to see yourself differently. I want you to see yourself through my eyes. I see someone who kept going, someone who survived storms they never thought they could survive. Someone who endured seasons that should have broken them. Someone who continued carrying hope even when hope felt fragile. Someone who continued searching for me even when they could not clearly hear my voice. And my child, that matters more than you know, because hidden inside those difficult moments was a test few recognized, not a test of performance. A test of persistence, not a test of perfection. A test of surrender, not a test of strength, a test of dependence. Every time you chose to keep moving forward, the test revealed something. Every time you prayed despite discouragement, the test revealed something. Every time you trusted despite uncertainty, the test revealed something. The test revealed that the flame was still alive. It revealed that your heart still belonged to me. It revealed that your spirit had not surrendered, even when your emotions wanted to. And that is why the enemy fought so hard to convince you that your weakness was proof of failure, because he understood something you did not. He understood that your weakness was becoming a doorway to deeper trust, a doorway to greater dependence, a doorway to stronger faith, a doorway to transformation. My beloved, there is another truth you must understand. Some of the greatest spiritual growth happens in seasons that feel completely unproductive. Think about a seed buried beneath the soil. From the outside, nothing appears to be happening. No visible growth, no visible movement, no visible progress. Yet beneath the surface, roots are forming. Foundations are developing. Life is expanding. Preparation is taking place. And that is exactly what has been happening within you. You have been judging yourself by what you can see. I have been working where you cannot see. You have been watching the surface. I have been strengthening the roots. You have been asking why things are taking so long. I have been preparing you for what comes next. And my child, what comes next requires stronger roots, because the blessings ahead will be greater than the burdens behind. The responsibilities ahead will be greater than the struggles behind. The opportunities ahead will be greater than the obstacles behind. That is why preparation was necessary. That is why the season lasted longer than you expected. That is why the test mattered. But here is the part many people never understand. The season of weakness was never meant to become your permanent home. It was only preparation, a classroom, a refining process, a place where deeper faith could be formed. And soon, very soon, you will begin to understand why I allowed certain things to remain, why I allowed certain fires to burn lower, why I allowed certain answers to take longer. Because there is something hidden beneath the ashes that you have not yet fully seen. Something still glowing, something still alive, something waiting for the right moment to rise again. Stay with me, my beloved, because in the next part I will reveal why the fire never truly went out, and why what looked like dying may actually be the beginning of restoration. My beloved child, there is a reason I did not allow the fire to disappear completely. A reason I preserved something within you even when everything around you seemed to be changing. A reason the flame never fully went out. And until you understand this truth, you may continue misinterpreting what has been happening in your life. Listen carefully. Many people assume that if something no longer burns brightly, it must be dead. If passion fades, they assume purpose is gone. If emotions weaken, they assume faith has disappeared. If answers delay, they assume heaven has become silent. But my child, that is not how I work. What appears weak is not always dying. What appears hidden is not always gone. What appears quiet is not always inactive. In fact, some of my greatest works happen in silence, beneath the surface, beyond what human eyes can see. Do you remember winter, when trees appear lifeless? When branches stand bare, when growth seems absent, when the landscape looks empty and cold. Many people look at a winter tree and assume nothing is happening. Yet beneath the ground, life remains. The roots continue their work. The foundation continues strengthening. Preparation continues unseen. And when the appointed season arrives, growth suddenly appears. Not because life returned, but because life never left. My beloved, the same has been true in your life. You have judged yourself by outward appearances. You have looked at what felt lost, what felt delayed, what felt weaker than before, and you assumed the fire was disappearing. But I tell you now, the fire never left. The flame remained, the embers remained, the purpose remained, the calling remained. My presence remained, even when you could not feel it, even when you questioned it, even when your emotions suggested otherwise. As it is written, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. Notice those words carefully. The darkness did not overcome the light. The darkness surrounded it. The darkness challenged it. The darkness attempted to hide it, but it never conquered it. And neither has darkness conquered what I placed within you, my child. There were moments when you thought you had become less than who you once were. Moments when you compared yourself to earlier seasons. Moments when you remembered a stronger version of yourself. A more confident version. A more hopeful version. A more energetic version. And you quietly wondered what happened. But what if I told you that the person you are becoming is stronger than the person you were? What if I told you that what feels like loss is actually refinement? What if I told you that some things had to burn away so that deeper things could remain? Because not everything that leaves your life is a tragedy. Sometimes it is preparation, sometimes it is pruning, sometimes it is protection, and sometimes it is the removal of things that could not accompany you into your next season. My beloved, a fire behaves differently depending on its purpose. There are moments when flames rise high and bright. Moments of visible excitement, visible power, visible movement. But there are also moments when a fire settles into embers, quiet, steady, hidden beneath ash. And yet those embers often contain more lasting heat than the flames themselves. The fire appears smaller, but it has not become weaker. It has become deeper. And that is exactly what I have been doing within you. I have been taking your faith deeper, deeper than emotions, deeper than circumstances, deeper than temporary excitement, because excitement fades. Emotions fluctuate, circumstances change, but deep faith remains. Deep faith survives storms. Deep faith survives waiting. Deep faith survives uncertainty. Deep faith survives silence, my child. You have been learning how to trust me when the flames are not visible, and that lesson is more valuable than you realize. Anyone can trust when miracles are obvious. Anyone can trust when prayers are immediately answered. Anyone can trust when everything makes sense. But learning to trust while tending hidden embers, that produces maturity. that produces endurance, that produces strength. And strength is exactly what you will need for the season ahead. Because what is coming requires more than excitement. It requires stability. The blessings ahead require stability. The opportunities ahead require stability. The influence ahead requires stability. And stability is formed in seasons like this, not during abundance, but during waiting, not during celebration, but during preparation. My beloved child, there is another reason I allowed the embers to remain. Because embers can ignite again. A single ember can start a fire. A single spark can illuminate darkness. A single moment of obedience can alter an entire future. And there are embers within you right now that are waiting for fresh breath. Dreams you thought were gone. Hope you thought had disappeared. Faith you thought had weakened. Purpose you thought had faded. They are still there, waiting, preserved, protected, guarded by my hand. You thought they were finished. I knew they were resting. You thought they had died. I knew they were being prepared. You thought the story was ending. I knew a new chapter was forming. That is why I never allowed the flame to disappear completely. Because I know what I placed inside you. I know what you are capable of becoming. I know what assignments still await you. I know what prayers will yet be answered. I know what doors will yet open. And I know what victories are still ahead. My beloved, the enemy wanted you to interpret the ashes incorrectly. He wanted you to believe the fire was gone. He wanted you to surrender before the season changed. He wanted you to walk away before the breakthrough arrived. Because if he could convince you the fire was dead, you would stop protecting it. If he could convince you hope was pointless, you would stop expecting. If he could convince you the story was over, you would stop listening. But my child, you are still here. You are still listening. You are still seeking. You are still moving forward. And that alone is evidence that the embers remain. Evidence that the fire remains. Evidence that I am not finished with your story. In fact, what you call survival may actually be preparation. What you call delay may actually be development. What you call weakness may actually be refinement. And soon you will begin to see it. Soon you will begin to understand why I preserved what remained. Because there is a lesson hidden inside these embers, a lesson many never learn, a lesson that separates those who endure from those who quit. The lesson is this: what is valuable must be tended, not occasionally, not when convenient, but consistently, because even a preserved ember requires care. Even a protected flame requires attention. Even a calling requires stewardship. And that brings me to the next truth I must teach you. A truth that many misunderstand. A truth that some even fear. Yet it has been one of my greatest gifts from the beginning. It is not punishment. It is not restriction. It is not control. It is protection. My beloved child. In the next part, I will show you why discipline is not the burden you thought it was, and why the very thing many resist may actually be the fence protecting the future I prepared for them.